Hello and welcome to the Ellen Made Book Club. I have a bunch of new books that I want to share with you. Some of them are from the library and some are books that I bought secondhand and some are new. So first off, I have 3 books that I found secondhand. The first one is The Winners by Fredrik Backman, and I listened to this on audiobook in December and January. It is long. I have the other 2 in as physical books, and so I wanted to complete the collection, and my boyfriend might want to read these in physical form. So yeah, it cost me less than $1, so I was very happy to find this. The first part in the series, Beartown, is pretty easy to find secondhand, but like part number 3 is not always as easy. So I was really happy to find that. And then I also found Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. It's in English and it was cheap and pretty good condition and like good font size. That was an easy choice as well to pick up. And then I also found Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. And I haven't read anything from this author before, and I don't think that this book in particular has the highest ratings necessarily, but it is a thriller, and Paula Hawkins wrote The Girl on the Train, which I also have on my shelves. But this is again in English, and it's one of these like nice big floppy books. I really enjoy a good reading experience, like the tactile part of reading a book, and this also cost less than $1, and so easy choice to pick this up. And then I have a bunch of books from my library, and 2 of them were available at the library when I checked, but the other ones I have like suggested to the library to purchase, and then they did, and now I have them. So yeah, I just wanted to show you which books I suggested, and they did purchase, and now I have them. So anyways, the ones that they had already were Bunny by Mona Awad, and this is the one that I'm currently reading, and I need to finish like tonight or tomorrow because I have to return this because someone else wants to read it. I'm going to talk about this more in my February wrap-up, but yeah, enjoying it so far. And they also had Olga Dice Dreaming by Xochitl Gonzalez, which I wanted to read for Maria Andrea's book club at Books and Bocadillos. I haven't gotten to it yet in February, but I am keeping extending the loan, so I will read this when I'm done with Bunny, I think. I don't know much about this story. I think it follows a girl called Olga, and there's something about her brother, and I think they're living in New York, and it's about being Latinx in the US, and that's pretty much all I know. The book club is all about Latina authors, and this year they were all Latina authors, and so yeah, this was the pick for February. And then I have this stack of books, which are titles that I suggested to the library to purchase, and so I'm very happy that they did. And these are all books that I have as options for either my Diversity Book Bingo reading challenge that I'm doing this year or the Climathon. So if you're participating in the Diversity Book Bingo this year, these might be some suggestions that you could read for some of the prompts. So first off, I have Never Whistle at Night, which is an anthology edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst Jr. That's a long name. This is an Indigenous dark fiction anthology. It's a collection of short stories by different Indigenous authors. And there are several names in here that I recognize as Indigenous authors and like whose other works of fiction I have been interested to read, but I haven't tried them yet. So this anthology I figured would be a good place to start to kind of get a sense of their different writing styles and things. I'm also very curious about these like dark fiction stories. The cover is so gorgeous with all these different animals, and there's an eye, and yeah, it's just some of the authors that I recognize are Rebecca Rowanhorse, Nick Medina, Morgan Tulty, Tommy Orange, and yeah, I think that's everyone I recognize. I'm excited to try their writing and everyone else's in this anthology, and yeah, I'm very happy that they bought this for me so I can read it. The next book I have is a memoir called Unbowed by Wangari Maathai, And I had never heard about this woman before, but I came across this book while browsing around for books for this challenge. It just sounded fascinating to me, and like I should have heard about this person, and I don't know why I haven't. But yeah, that just goes to show what people we are told about, or maybe I am under a rock, I don't know. Have you heard about this person before? Please tell me. She is a Kenyan woman. She served as a deputy for like environment and something natural resources in Kenya, and she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2004 in recognition of her campaigns for democracy and environmental reform. She was the founder of the Green Belt movement, which through networks of rural women has planted over 30 million trees across Kenya since 1977. I want to read more about her, please. The next book is also a non-fiction book, and this is Soil, the Story of a Black Mother's Garden by Camille T. Dungy. I think that she is a poet, but this book is about her experience moving to an area in the US, and they had a lot of like restrictions on what you could plant in your garden, and it was very like homogenous, and she wanted to rebel against that. In resistance to the policies that limited the possibility and wonder that grows from the earth, Camille employs the various plants, herbs, vegetables, and flowers she grows in her garden as a metaphor for how homogeneity threatens the future of our planet, and why cultivating diverse and intersectional language in our national discourse about the environment is the best means of protecting it. Very long sentence, but yeah, you get the idea. I think this sounds wonderful. I like the idea of having a garden as a metaphor for diversity among people and how we can like what we can do to protect the environment and nature and all of that. And it's also about the African diaspora and how they can sort of find a home wherever they put their feet, or like the soil as being home. And yeah, I just think this sounds like a beautiful story and book, and the cover totally hooked me, as you can imagine. And yeah, I think that the inside of the book sounds very intriguing as well. The next one is a work of fiction, and this is Guiding Emily by Barbara Hinske. This is about a woman called Emily, and she had it all, career and a fiance and all of the things, and then she's in a tragic accident which causes her retinas to detach, and so she is slipping into blindness and trying to sort of rebuild her life and adjust to her new circumstances. And so this is about her, and then there's also a black lab puppy named Garth who fulfills his destiny to become that most esteemed of all creatures, a guide dog. It says that this is a heartwarming tale of love, loss, and courage as Garth and Emily make their way to each other. This was a recommendation from Paula at Reading in Darkness, who is also blind, and so I trust her judgment on that. She said that blind characters can be annoying in books sometimes, but she thought that this portrayal of being blind was very good, and so I'm very interested to read this. And this is also a series. I suggested that the library purchase the first book, and then we'll see. But yeah, I'm very curious to read this and see what I think of it. Next, I have a non-fiction anthology, and this is Disability, Visibility, which is edited by Alice Wong. I just started reading this in February, and I'm not very far in at all, but the first story just made me laugh and cry, and it was just fantastic, and so I look forward to reading the rest of the stories in this. And it seems to be very diverse. There are a lot of different kinds of people and different kinds of disability represented in this little book. Like, it's not very long at all or big or anything, so I just feel like this is a book that anyone kind of could and should read. It's less than 300 pages, and it's very small, and just, yeah, so far it's been fantastic and eye-opening, and yeah, I look forward to reading the rest of the stories in this one. Then I have a fantasy novel, and that is Masquerade by O O Sangoyomi. And this is set in Africa, somewhere, West Africa, I think, during the 15th century or something like that, 16th century. And it's based on, or like retelling of Greek mythology, I think, but set in West Africa. I just think that the cover is so gorgeous, and so that definitely was what intrigued me at first. And yeah, it just sounded like a very interesting story. There's a map in the end papers here, and it says 1471, so I'm guessing it's 15th century. That's always so confusing to me, but 1400s. I hope to be able to read this soon. And then the final book that I have from the library at the moment is There's Something in the Water by Ingrid R.G. Waldron. And this is about environmental racism in Indigenous and Black communities in Canada. And this is nonfiction, and it's very like academic style text. It's quite dense, and it seems to be a very academic text with like sources and footnotes and that kind of thing. But it's not very long at all, and I think that the story itself is pretty like compelling and interesting. And yeah, I've been looking forward to reading this for a long time, and so I'm very happy that they purchased this for my local library. And so yeah, if you have books that you think your library should have and they don't, just suggest it to them and they might buy it. The next book I received as a gift, and this sounds very interesting. This is HHHH by Laurent Binet, or Laurent Binet. It's a French author. This came out in 2009 and was translated by Sam Taylor in 2012. This is set during World War II in 1942, I think. It follows two Czechoslovakian parachutists sent on a daring mission by London to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich, chief of the Nazi secret services. His boss is Heinrich Himmler, but everyone in the SS says Himmler's brain is called Heydrich, which in German spells out HHHH. This sounds very intriguing to me, and it's based on true history. It's a historical novel, and it says that the author's style fuses it all together, a neutral journalistic honesty sustained with a fiction writer's zeal and storytelling instincts. It's one of the best historical novels I've ever come across. Yeah, this has gotten very high praise and it's got good ratings, and I'm just very intrigued by this. And so yeah, I'm very grateful to have received this as a gift, and I look forward to reading it. And then I have one book that I purchased new in a bookstore. I'm trying to be very mindful, but this is a book that I have been wanting for a long time, it feels like, and I'm very happy to have it. This is Pet by Catherine Chidgey, and this is set in New Zealand, and there's a dual timeline, I think, 1984 and 2014. And it has probing themes of racism and misogyny. Like, what else am I reading? And it's a dazzling and chilling psychological thriller. I think this sounds fascinating. This follows 12-year-old Justine, who is drawn to her glamorous, charismatic new teacher and longs to be her pet. However, when a thief begins to target the school, Justine's sense that something isn't quite right grows even stronger. I've just heard good things about this, and it's something about it speaks to me. I think it sounds like a very original premise, and I can't wait to see what the thriller part of this is. And I love the cover, and there's a little boat in the pen there. I don't know why that's important, but somehow that makes it better to me. I was looking for I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman in the bookstore, but they didn't have it. And so I figured I could treat myself to another book. So this is the one I chose. And I think that I showed great, self-control by only buying one book. And yeah, I'm very happy I have this, and I can't wait to read it. Those were all of the books that I wanted to show you. Let me know if any of them are new to you or sound interesting to you. And also let me know if you ever suggest books to your local library to purchase. We all keep hearing about books being banned and challenged in libraries in the US at least. And I think that can happen anywhere. And so I feel like it might be difficult to challenge the challenges that the libraries get on the books, but one thing that we can do is suggest that the libraries purchase books as well, and adding books to the libraries, and especially books by authors who come from marginalized groups, and just, you know, stories about the people whose stories need to be told and heard. And yeah, I just figure the more books that there are in the libraries, the more chances are that those stories will be read by people. I just feel like that's a positive action that we all can take, and if the libraries are flooded with challenges and stuff like that, let's flood them with suggestions of great books by authors who need to be heard and read. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.